Now to the moral system. Go back to AD&D 1E Raw, the Raw and tournament time, because remember, OD&D is not rules as written. Some people do it. A lot of people start making changes right away. Those changes lead to things like Beckme. It's not just the fucking team at TSR doing it. It's people in real life trying whatever they want, doing whatever they want with the game. Okay, so OD&D, you do whatever you want. Fair enough. All kinds of people are doing whatever they want. Some people learn it raw and then just do whatever they want. But there's no, you got to do it raw. So that's OD&D. You go to Beckme, still not raw, but there's definitely learn it raw, do whatever you want, do whatever you want. AD&D 1E is going to come out with the first official attempt at pushing sort of rules as written view of the game. And they don't do it for the home game. See, if you understand AD&D 1E, when you read it, you're as free to do what you want with the home game as you were with OD&D and Beckme. Make changes, add whatever you want. You're really buying it. That's on you. Where does rules as written get pushed initially with AD&D 1E? For tournament. So they have their tournament style, and for that to be consistent, they go to raw with that. Not your home game, but for the tournament play. And there is a separation. Now, where you find it get confused is they're not very clear in their dialogue. Like Gary says something that raw would contradict. So if rules is written is the way you play the game, that means the book is king. The book overrules the DM, right? You can't say the DM is king if rules is written is the official way we play it normally. So to play it normally at home, you don't got to do raw. Because raw, and where does Gary say this in the Dungeon Master Guide? He says at one point, the Dungeon Master is king. You cannot be king if the book is king. And rules is written means the book is king. So we got the rules is written. Now, a lot of guys took the rules is written tournament style to their home game. Now, these were guys, I would classify a lot of them as not really being good at the whole thing as a DM. But if you run it by the book, you don't really got to be that good. Right? You just let the book do most of the work for you. Right? But they're doing raw. Now, I'm not talking about the raw tournament stuff. If you go to tournament, they would probably, in the tournament games, be applying things like moral. But when you get to the raw home approach, which is unnecessary because AD&D 1E isn't even pushing for this, but a lot of guys are taking this raw tournament style to their home game as they're getting confused. They think the raw tournament thing is what you do at the home game. No, it's not, but a lot of people confuse this because the language in the books can be very vague and all over the place. So what happens when you get to the raw at home guys? Now, this is not the guys that are avoiding raw. These are the guys going to their home game, focusing on rules as written. Now, as much as I say rules as written, they do drop some minor things. And one thing you'll notice with a rules as written DM back in the day, AD&D 1E, is that a vast majority of them never used the moral system. They would just run the monsters till they were dead. Like they just run the fight out. That was it. So that's where you start running into DMs with the moral, not running the moral system that often. Not meaning all raw guys did this, but all the raw, most of the people that were doing it, not running it, were what you call at-home DMs that were running AD&D 1E in the sort of a tournament style raw, but they skipped over a complex thing like moral. That's complex thinking. A lot of raw guys are very simple in their approach, right? They use very simple rules, but sometimes they miss out on certain things. Or you'd notice they might skip over certain complicated things on purpose, almost on purpose, and say, yeah, I don't run with the moral system, or sometimes not even, like, just forget to even bother applying it. Now, the moral system is said to be, by the pro OSR, and many of these pro OSR people that call AD&D 1E Wargaming, which I proved with a deep dive, it's not. Gary started with roots in OD&D of Wargaming, but they can never apply chainmail combat the way it was miniatures that had to be optional. And they actually start with the focus on role-playing, social interaction, and character and everything. And they move away from it by the time you get to Beckme. By the time you get to AD&D 1, they have moved incredibly far away from wargaming. They are something very different. Now, in the fact deep dive that I did, I prove it. right? I proved it so much that a bunch of guys that were OSR guys on X especially had to start actually acknowledging that it wasn't wargaming, that it moved away from wargaming. After 2 years of saying it was wargaming, I did that deep dive and had a shitload of guys that just changed their fucking language on purpose because they could not deny what I said. It was moving away from wargaming. The moral system comes from wargaming, chainmail. Now, the wargamers might say, well, look, the moral system, you could use that, and that promotes wargaming. Well, why would the moral system still be in the game? It's not because of wargaming. It's because anything that could be applied, say, from wargaming that would actually lean in to the stuff leaning away from wargaming was kept. So, complexity of the monster having a personality, being scared, maybe running off, and that being good as basic gameplay for a dungeon. It's good that you don't have to finish a fight. They might run away before the fight is over. That concept is not so much promoting wargaming. It's okay for the gaming overall, and it actually doesn't take away from this move away from it. So it actually leans more into it, but it doesn't take away from it. So were there elements that you could still say lingered on from wargaming that if they did not contradict the move away from wargaming, they remained? It wasn't a promotion of wargaming. Like, this element was not a promotion of wargaming being good for AD&D. Nothing against wargaming. I'm just saying, was it a promotion to even say AD&D 1E was wargaming? No, it wasn't. Totally moved away. This is TSR staff admitted this. Gary talked about it openly. They moved away from wargaming. It was separate. Social interaction, character development, stuff like this. Narrative stuff was already in there. You can see it in the modules and everything. They moved so far away from wargaming that it's obvious. And as soon as I did that deep dive on AD&D 1E, again, I had a shitload of OSR guys that went on for 2 years saying, AD&D 1E is wargaming. I did the deep dive, and a shitload of them changed their language from, man, I'm really mad that they moved away from wargaming. They don't acknowledge my deep dive, even though I know they see it. That's why they changed their language. They went from, it is wargaming to, I'm mad. And then it even turned to this recently. They're saying, we're taking AD&D back to wargaming. Well, dude, for 2 years you said it was, so why would you have to take it back if it was? It means you're full of shit and you just haven't acknowledged why you had to change your language. If what you said for 2 years was accurate for OSR guys about it being wargaming, why at one point do you say it moved away? Like, at no point do they acknowledge why they changed the language. AD&D battle system. No, combat system. As long as it doesn't contradict the move away, things stayed. But what did they do? They simplified that. See, here's Fox where I'm going to bust their heads in. A lot of these guys have no idea what happened after 2nd edition came out. See, I'm a 2nd edition DM. So, almost all AD&D 1E DMs that did not stick to Raw, the vast majority of them used what you would call the moral system. But they ran more complex games. Nothing like wargaming at all. When you get the 2nd edition away from Raw and Tournament, and 2nd edition was anti-Raw. Anti-rules is written. Very anti, and our players knew it. Our players never expected, like, there was rule lawyers in OD&D and Beckme, Fox, right? But what were those rule lawyers known to be? Cool people that people liked. So why was there a type of rule lawyer that was considered an asshole at one point? Like, there's various different rule lawyers, but where does the asshole one come from? And OD&D and Beckme, the rule lawyer, is just someone who understands the rules well enough to give the DM the heads up, but the DM has authority. So the DM says, well, I'm running it that way because I perceive it that way, or just says whatever, I'm running it the way I want. After the rule lawyer points out a rule to them, it's not even a rule lawyer, it's just someone assisting. They'd be like, okay, right away. And they say, why were the guys in OD&D and Beckme that knew the rules cool? Because DM has authority. So where does the famous asshole rule lawyer come from? He's the raw guy. The book is king. So if the DM doesn't do what the book is saying and a rule lawyer points it out, rule lawyer starts arguing with the DM. The famous asshole rule lawyer is the raw tournament style, taking the raw style to home, and then running into that rule lawyer who thinks he has the authority from the book to tell the DM how it is. That's for the famous asshole rule lawyer comes from. When you get to second edition, we moved away from the raw and tournament style again, and our guys that knew the rules never argued with our DMs. We went back to what OD&D and Beckme had. Right away. And we dropped the battle system from AD&D. That was used all the time, which, I mean, you could use that or Thaco. You could use the Thaco. They simplified it down to Thaco. I think second edition's change over to simplified Thaco was better. And if you actually play second edition, because remember, second edition is just AD&D with changes, simplified to make things easier. In that way, everybody I know who's actually played second edition just says, okay, yeah, the Thaco system is more simple, easier. It's easier than bothering to use the battle system. Yeah, it is. And it's not just better, it works pretty consistently fast. You don't got to stop and check all the time. That's it. It's a lot easier. And it's the same argument they use for the D20, but at that point, the D20 doesn't actually improve. It's the same speed as Thaco. So, I mean, it's a speed factor. Thaco purely as second edition does it, is slightly faster. So slightly faster becomes considered better, especially in a game where combat pace and speed of combat is very important. So how you apply. Do I have a problem with the battle system? Not really, but I know a lot of guys that just actually switched over to the Thaco system for second edition for their 1E games. I'm just saying. Let's focus on the moral system. AD&D 1E Raw. Most guys were not using the moral system. In second edition, we overkill used the moral system. Most of us didn't use it exactly by the book, but just about every DM I knew that did 2E ran moral system. The DMs would just start judging on their own when monsters would run away. Like basically they went back to the old school idea of don't always check the book. The pace of the game is important, the flow. So if you're in the middle of flow, you're not sure what moral do these guys have? Doesn't matter. If your common sense is, yeah, the goblins will probably run away now. They run away. They've been outnumbered, their ass is kicked, their leader's been taken down. If you judge in your common sense they would go, you keep flow going, you don't bother checking, they move away. Second edition, it was common. AD&D 1E DMs that did not stick to raw tournament style did almost the exact same thing. The guilty parties for not using the moral system the most was the guys who misinterpreted the raw tournament style as something you do at home. They took it to their home game, and then ironically, where there's a tiny bit of complexity, they flop. Like they're mostly doing it by the book, but these are guys that aren't that creative. The book tells them what to do.